Are you feeling exhausted, anxious, stressed, easily angered, and you just want to quit homeschooling? Well, that is called homeschool overwhelm, and I'm here to share some tips on how you can battle that so that you don't quit homeschooling. So if you're new here, I'm Xuan from the Homeschool Front blog, and this is my YouTube channel, Life in the Trenches, where I share all things about homeschooling, how to make it simple, easy, and stress-free. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is how you can make your homeschool simple, easy, and stress-free so that you don't have to experience homeschool overwhelm. So first, we're going to identify the root causes of overwhelm. One of them could be the curriculum that you've chosen is a little bit too complex. There's just too much going on and you just feel kind of overwhelmed by that. Another is your lack of planning and organization. And as someone who does not like to plan, I understand this. There are ways where you can make planning and organizing a little bit simpler. And next is unrealistic expectations, which is something that, you know, we have this idea in our head about how our homeschool should look like. And sometimes those ideas are based on what we see online on Instagram or Pinterest. And the thing is that that's not realistic. Your homeschool is your own. Sometimes we just need to let go of those unrealistic expectations. Fourth is social pressures. Oftentimes, especially if you're on Instagram and Pinterest, you feel pressured to, you know, get the curriculum that everyone is recommending. You feel pressured to socialize your kids. You feel pressured to do all of the things. There's just so much opportunity out there. You just want to do it all. And it's just unrealistic to do that. And then the fifth root cause of overwhelm is emotional regulation. And I know that's a touchy subject for some of us, especially as adults. We feel like we are old enough, we can regulate our emotions. But if you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed very easily by homeschooling, maybe there's something you need to dive deeper to understand about yourself and why you're getting stressed and overwhelmed. So now we're going to talk about solutions on how you can simplify your homeschool so that you don't have to be overwhelmed and stressed out, because no one wants that, right? So the first is to simplify your curriculum. It's to focus on the essentials. You do not have to cover all of the topics. For example, in our homeschool, our daily work consists of math, writing, reading, and that's about it. And then we intersperse here and there, depending on the day and the time that we have. We'll do science or social studies or geography or art or what have you. We just kind of intersperse that everywhere else. Whereas our core, our essentials, we do every day. And that makes homeschooling a lot easier, knowing that I don't have to cover all of the subjects in one day, because that's just unreasonable. Even in elementary schools, public elementary schools, they do not cover all of the topics in one day. They focus on the essentials and then they'll intersperse everything else. And then, you know, when you get to middle school and high school, sure, they are studying 6, 7 topics, but they have 6, 7 different teachers teaching those topics, and you're just one person, so don't stress yourself out. And then also, when it comes to simplifying your curriculum, is to find resources that not only work for your child, but also works for your teaching style. Some of us want an open and go curriculum that tells exactly what to do and say, while others of us want something more flexible that they can kind of pick and choose what they use within the curriculum. So next, I recommend that you and your family figure out what your natural rhythm is. When do people wake up naturally? Do you naturally just start the day right away? Or is it do you ease into the day and do your homeschooling later? You just kind of have to figure out what your natural rhythm is, rather than fighting that natural rhythm. Kind of go with it, flow with it. It'll make homeschooling so much easier. For us, the night before, I like to get everything in place. So mise en place is what it's called in the cooking world. And so you just get all your ingredients, all your homeschool supplies, everything that you need for the next day ready to go, so that in the morning when you do wake up, you're not scrambling to get things together. It's already all there, ready to go. I also create a to-do list for my kids the night before. And all this takes me 5 minutes, 10 minutes max to get everything together and all the to-do lists done and chalkboard up here what our daily tasks are. Just doing that makes it so much more simpler. And then when it comes to planning, if you want to make planning really easy, then you can backwards plan like I just started doing. It's basically, you just write down everything that you've done that day. So at the end of the day, before you get all your supplies ready to go and your checklist ready to go for the next day, you reflect back on everything that your kids did. You feel a lot less stress, you know, because there's something about making plans and then not meeting those plans that can really cause a lot of stress. At least it does for me. And so I found that backwards planning has really eased that anxiety that I get when I don't do what I planned. And the next step in simplifying your homeschool is to set realistic goals. Be realistic about your child. Who cares about what you see online, what other people are doing? Be realistic about your child, what they're capable of, what their learning pace is. I mean, you may have a brilliant child, but they learn at a very slow pace because they really love to dive into the details. Or you may have a child that struggles and you need to give them extra help. Or you may have a child that just quickly goes through everything because they want to hurry up and get done so they can do their own thing. So just really lean into your kids' unique pace and needs, and don't stress out about what the curriculum says the pace should be. You can go at your own pace. It's your homeschool. You can go at your own pace. And then don't forget, it's okay to ask for help. You do not have to teach all the subjects. You can outsource that. For a while, we were using Night Zookeeper for writing. So that was me outsourcing writing to an online program. Also, we use Beast Academy, the online version for math. And so I'm not teaching math, I'm outsourcing that. My kids do take classes outside of our home, and so I'm outsourcing those subjects as well. I'm not doing everything, and you don't have to do everything either. And the next is navigating the social pressures. I recommend limiting your time on social media. Ever since I've done that, I felt so much less stress. It just feels better not to be on social media because people are only just sharing their highlights. And if you are a very self-critical person, then seeing other people's highlights and then knowing what's going on in your life, you're going to say, I'm not living up to my expectations and blah, blah, blah. And you go down this downward spiral, and you don't want to do that. Also, finding a like-minded homeschooling community, which can be hard. I am a secular homeschooler, but I'm open to, meeting people from all backgrounds. I have no problems with that. I think more people have problems with me than I have problems with other people. Just finding like-minded people that share your same values, that, are as open as you are, then that kind of helps a lot as well. And then also trusting the process and trusting yourself. Like, trust that your choice to homeschool your kids is right. Don't doubt yourself. I know that's hard to say because we all, we're humans, so humans doubt themselves all the time, their choices, etc. But if you, just trust it. Trust that you will find your groove. Like all of us, when we first started homeschooling, is challenging. Like anything we do new in life is challenging in the beginning, but eventually you find your groove. Eventually it gets easier. Eventually you know what works and what doesn't. Eventually you're able to pivot more easily, etc. So just trust the process and trust your belief, your educational philosophy. Trust that. Trust that you're doing the right thing. You don't need to be switching back and forth between educational philosophies because you see other people sharing what they're doing and what they believe. You can have like an eclectic mix like we do, and it's perfectly fine. And it works well. I think we just need to get out of that black and white thinking and be okay being in the gray. Not everything's going to perfectly fit into boxes. So the thing about homeschooling is that you're at home. As stay-at-home parents, or even if you work outside of the home and you're homeschooling your kids, you still, especially women, we bear the brunt of home duties. I mean, I feel like maybe the younger generations are sharing those duties, the partners are sharing those duties, but we pretty much do the brunt of the housework here. I'm here to help you as well to simplify your home life, because if you can simplify your home life as well as your homeschool life, your overwhelm and your stress will definitely go down. So when it comes to cleaning and cooking, you don't need to be doing it all. Of course, bring your spouse in, have them help as well, and have your kids help, because the point of being parents is that we are raising our kids to become capable adults. And how are they going to become capable adults if they don't learn how to cook and clean? So include your kids in cooking and cleaning. Yes, they're not going to do it as well as you. They're not going to clean as well as you. They're not going to cook as well as you, but get them involved so that they can learn these skills. And you know, like every so often when it comes to cleaning, I have to go in and do like a mom version of their cleaning. So most of the time my kids clean their own bathroom, and then maybe once a month I'll go in there and I will mom clean. And you know what I mean when it comes to mom cleaning and kid cleaning, two different things, right? Same with their bedrooms, but for the most part they tidy up their own space, and that really helps out a lot. And then when it comes to cooking, eventually, you know, you involving them, maybe it's harder in the beginning because, you know, they all want to be involved and it's just like a big mess, etc. But eventually it's going to get to the point when they get older where they can cook for you, and that's one less thing that you have to do. So teach them now, put the work in now so that you can have less work later. Next is to embrace technology for convenience. So when I'm talking about technology, I'm not talking about giving your kids screen time so that you can zone out and do whatever you want. I'm talking about utilizing like grocery pickup and delivery services. I rarely go inside a grocery store. I'll go inside Trader Joe's because they don't have a delivery service or pickup service, but I don't go inside Costco anymore. I have them deliver the groceries to me. When it comes to our regular grocery store here, I order online and then I go pick it up. It's less time spent shopping, and also I spend less money as well. So it's like a win-win there. I also have essential household items scheduled for delivery. So like our cleaning supplies I get from Blue Land. So I have that scheduled for delivery. Like my, it's essential to me, my matcha and my mushroom tea. I have that delivered from Mudwater. And then I also have my vitamins. It's like a vitamin drink that I have delivered from AG1. It's all scheduled out so that they are delivered to me so that I make sure that my health is taken care of there. And then sometimes I'll use services like ThriveCart, because even though we do have health food stores like Whole Foods and Sprouts nearby, Thrive Market is sometimes cheaper, and I don't have to go into the store. I can just order on my phone and then have it delivered. And I just did that recently. I needed more einkorn flour, and I ordered some stuff and had it delivered. Also, both my husband and I are half Asian, and we do have like a little Asian market. They often don't have the foods that we want or need. And driving down to LA, especially now, traffic has gotten worse in the past few years. We try not to drive down to LA anymore to go to the bigger Asian grocery stores there. So I'll have them delivered using an app called We. It's like the one good thing that came out of COVID was having the ability to have all my groceries delivered or easily picked up. Same with Target, ordering online and then going to pick up, because whenever I go inside Target, I'm spending way too much time and way too much money there. And so it just eases my life when I do that. And then if you're into using apps to manage your household, you know, there are tons out there you can do for budgeting. You can do like project management kind of thing. Like you can use Notion or ClickUp for that. Or, you know, like just scheduling like payments, like bills and stuff. You can have that all automatically come out of your checking account so that you don't have to worry about paying bills. Like just automating things is basically what I'm saying. If you automate what you can automate, then that leaves you more room, more mental space here to do other things that are more important. Next is being okay with messes. So if you are a perfectionist, this may be like, you know, this may bother you. I come from a family that are neat freaks, and so I'm a big mess compared to my parents, but I'm very much a neat freak compared to my husband and my kids. And so I really had to let go of keeping everything perfect and clean. Even though my parents are like, when they come to our house, like I've just learned to just let go. It's like okay not to have a perfect and clean house. It's okay if I have people come over and my house is not perfect and clean. It does not say anything about who I am, because I know who I am. I know I'm a good person, and not having a perfect and clean house is okay. Letting my kids make a mess, an art mess or a mud mess or whatever mess is okay, because it's easy to clean up. Those are just small little details that don't really matter in the big picture. And I think seeing the big picture really helps, because oftentimes we get caught in the tiny little details that don't really matter. It's like when, you know, when some women get married, they become bridezillas because they're too focused on the details that don't really matter. Once they get married and the wedding is over, no one's really going to remember anything, but except maybe the food. That's about it. And then finally, taking care of yourself. I know a lot of people out there kind of poo-poo self-care. I think people just talked about it too much, and it's kind of overrated now, but it's still an important factor to include, because if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't fill up your cup, how are you going to be able to fill up anyone else's cup? Things that I like to do with my self-care is I do have a morning routine, and I'm not waking up at 4:30 in the morning to do have a 2-3 hour morning routine. That is totally unrealistic, and I don't recommend that to you unless that's actually wake up early. So my morning, I keep getting interrupted, sorry. So my morning routine is basically, my dog wakes me up. I would sleep longer, but my dog wakes me up, and I make my AG1, I make my matcha latte or my mud water latte, and then I go outside with the dog and I walk around my garden and I drink my drink, and then I will settle down and read a book or two. I do have 2 books. Usually I have one fiction and one nonfiction that I'm reading. So I read my fiction as long as I possibly can. Usually it's hard to put down. And then with my nonfiction book, I try to read a chapter a day, and then I get the kids ready. I get their breakfast ready to go. And then after breakfast, they go outside and take care of the chickens, and I do my own thing where I will either exercise or I'll meditate and then get ready for the day, just whatever, you know, ground myself in some way, and then we proceed with our homeschool day. So that's my self-care routine in the morning, and then, you know, throughout the day I give myself 5 minutes here and there, and I don't go on my phone, because I find that if I go on my phone, it's not really me letting go. Instead, I just have quiet time where maybe I'm doing breath work, or I'm just reading affirmations or mindset cards. Or if I do go on my phone, it's looking up recipes, because I really enjoy cooking. Cooking is one of those things that really give me a lot of joy. Or if, you know, we're planning a field trip or going on an outing as a family, then I'll look that up. That gives me a lot of joy, but I don't go on social media because that does not give me joy at all. In the evenings, my self-care is, you know, if I'm really into my fiction, then I'll read that book in the evenings. I'll watch some of my favorite shows and just relax, you know, enjoy time with my husband, and then, you know, call it a night, and that's good for me. So I don't do anything outlandish. I don't have a 20-step self-care routine that takes 3 hours a day. Instead, it's interspersed throughout the day. That's why my self-care routine takes the whole day, I guess. So my motto in life is doing less is more. And if that's something that you kind of vibe with, then make sure you check out this video right here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.